Now, this section that we are in here, it began back at chapter 21. It has been a very remarkable section because these are the last prophecies concerning the judgment that was coming upon the nation Israel. Now, Ezekiel's messages at the beginning were to the first two delegations that had gone into captivity because they held on to the belief that God would never destroy the temple. It was His sanctuary. His glory had been there, and they knew that. And they held on to that, and the false prophets encouraged them in this unbelief and made them think it was not necessary for these people to come back to God, to give up idolatry, and to give up their evil ways. And they went on, the false prophets, encouraging them in that. I think today one of the most subtle things that takes place is the fact that a great many men are eulogized even before they die, and then at their funeral, and they may have been godless, blasphemers. But some preacher pushes them right into heaven. May I say to you, without having God's mind on the matter, I think we should be very careful what we say about these folk, because the false prophets were doing the same thing in that day, and how tragic it was. And it gives the unsaved who come to a funeral today or hear a message the idea that their little goodness, and they measure it by some person's life that they know, and he's a great sinner, they don't think they need a Savior. My friends, the fact of the matter is that I'm afraid that today sometimes a gospel message is given in one place for the saints, and that it's not given in the place where it ought to be given when the man is out in the world, and especially at a funeral or speaking to a group of unsaved. He trims his message to please the crowd. Now, this man Ezekiel has really been putting it on the line. I think I should say two things that we've already seen that are remarkable prophecies. You'll recall that in chapter 20, he gave a prophecy concerning the Negev. That is the southern part of that land around Beersheba, all of that territory. And it was a prophecy that said, "And say to the forest of the Negev, I'll kindle a fire in thee." Well, I've been through that area a couple of times, and I want to tell you that's as bald-headed as a doorknob. There's no vegetation there of any size whatsoever. I never saw a tree that was any bigger than my arm in the entire place. And talk about a forest, they just not down in that section at all. What happened to it? God judged. And you can take a look there today that He did a pretty good job of judging. Then we've seen over here in chapter 21 that remarkable prophecy about the fact that there'll be no one to sit on David's throne until the Lord Jesus comes. That's what the angel meant when he said to Mary, "I'm going to give unto him the throne of his father David." You see, even at Christmas time, it's nice to have Ezekiel around to find out what even the angel was talking about. We need the background of these prophets that I think is so needful today.